Good afternoon everyone. Hi, my name's Brett and today I'm going to take you for a walk around Lexi and my Alti Nexus 360 trailer. We've had a few people ask us for a bit of a walk around because this is a fairly new model in the range and people have been asking sort of detailed questions about, how do the walls work and how does the room work and how do the options work. So I'm going to do a walk around and show as many of those things as I can today. We're going to start with the outside, we'll walk around the outside and then we'll dive inside. So let's start with the outside. For this camp, we've been camping for 10 days and we've got it set up in what I'd call base camp mode, which is we're not moving, we've put all the walls up, we've put up the shade, we'll talk about all that in a minute, but it's basically designed for us to be static and not moving around. The reason why we bought the Alti though is that it's actually, we feel it's a really great trailer for when you're touring. So when you're touring, you can very quickly set it up and close it away at night and in the morning when you're moving each day. But what I really enjoy is that when I want to do these longer camps, it's almost like a Lego set in terms of there's so many extra things you can add on to get more out of it. So let's take a look. First thing is the what they call the rear room, the external rear room. Now this is really clever the way this is designed. What they've done is they've got an extension awning here that zips onto the 360-degree awning that gives you extra shade out over what's called the galley side of the trailer. But there's also an extension piece here, which is called the rear extension piece that also zips onto the 360-degree awning that gives you extra shade. Now you could just stop there and just have the shade, but because it rains every time I go camping, we wanted to set up the external room so that we could get in out of the rain, but also when there's insects and things like that around, that we actually had a nice place to go and get away from the bugs. So the way this external room works is it's 3 walls, and you can actually configure the walls in a couple of different ways. The first wall is this wall here, which has a big door in it, and I've got to say I love the way they do the mesh on their walls. See, there's so much room, there's so much mesh here. When you've got it open, you've got heaps of light, you've got heaps of view of the beautiful scenery that's around us, but you've also got your protection. If it's rainy, if it's windy, if it's cold, you can then drop these canvas pieces down, close all of that up, and have it all enclosed and secure. So this is the first wall and it attaches on here, but one of the cool things about this wall is it can actually move into the centerpiece. I'll show you in the center in a minute, but it can attach here so that all your stairs and everything are inside, or you can move it back half of the room and have this end open and a sort of a smaller closed area behind. The way it attaches is just Velcro. So it's just got Velcro up the top there, so you just push it onto the Velcro done, and on the corners it has Velcro as well as a zip on the corners, so it's very secure. On this side of the trailer, same thing, they've put Velcro down the side of the trailer, so it attaches with Velcro there. And down the bottom here, it actually joins with a skirt, so there's a PVC skirt that goes along the bottom of the trailer to ensure that that whole area really is enclosed from bugs and rain and things like that. So that's wall number one with the door on it. Then we come around. Now as we come around, you'll see I've got some orange ropes here. Alti gives you some white ropes, just normal ones that you can get from Super Peg. I'm a big fan of these Oztent ropes because they've actually got a reflector in it. So I've changed my ropes over to Oztent ropes because they're much better for nighttime when you're walking around with a torch. They shine up, they light up. But I also use a Snow Peak peg. I've been using Snow Peak pegs for years. The reason I use the Snow Peak pegs is they're really hard to bend, and you can use them in all kinds of hard soil. For the Alti, I use the 30cm peg to give me a nice firm base for my ropes. All right, back to the walls. So this is the second wall, and it's a single wall that goes from here all the way along the back of the tent. Now what they've done, again, they've thought about the different ways that you can configure this. What you can do with this wall is you can actually unzip part of it and roll it to the middle. So if you just want a small room here over your stairs, or if you want a small room next to your underneath room, you can roll this wall up to the middle and attach it in here, or you're going to roll that side up to the middle and attach it here and create a smaller room. In our case, we wanted the big room, so we've got the whole wall set up. And again, you can see how much space here is. You get a beautiful view from the outside through this mesh, but then you've got these windows that close and zip down the sides, and then they Velcro across the bottom, so again, very easily get out of the rain and the wind and things like that when you want to. So that's the rear wall, and then we come around. One last wall. Now this one we've deliberately left closed, so you can see what it looks like when it's closed. This is the third wall, same attachment technique, Velcro at the top, Velcro on a zip in the corner so it's nice and sealed, but that's what it looks like when it's closed. And to open it up, it's just a zip, and it rolls up underneath these attachments, and again there you can see the mesh, right? So, and again, as I said, that wall, if you want to, can move into the middle as well, so you can really configure the room the way that you want. Just to give you an idea of the size, it's 2 metres across, so if I take 2 big steps there, it's actually a little bit more than 2 metres wide and longer than 4 metres, so it's a huge rear room for the tent. So for base camping, that's a lot of room under cover. We've had rain every day, that's just how it rolls for us. We've had no cooling issues with this. I did make sure I put these corner poles down a little bit and the centre pole up a little bit so it helps with the water runoff. But that's the rear room, and I've got to say, when you're base camping, that's a lot of room outside. And so we've been out of the rain and we've been out of the insects, so really happy with that room. Now, while I'm here, I'll just have a look at how this 360-degree awning works. So in the Altis now, you can order them with what's called a 360-degree awning or a 180-degree awning. Now the 360-degree awning, I liken it to a Queenslander house. It's basically got a veranda all the way around the trailer, and that goes up every time you set it up. And when we first got it, we're like, oh, how's it going to go? We've got to put that 360-degree awning up every time. It's 10 poles, and we find it goes up really, really quickly. It's just a couple of minutes for it to go up. And what's nice about it is you get shade all around your tent, and you get protection from rain all around your tent. So we think that 360-degree awning works really well for us. The 180-degree awning just doesn't have these two end bits, so this bit at this end and the bit at the other end, it just has a smaller piece that comes up here, and you've just got the sides. That way you've got choices, you can choose whatever works for you. We love the 360. Up here you'll see a blue rope just hanging down. These are your guide ropes. So if you're going to have wind, you're going to have a storm, you can actually pop these down. They're actually tucked away neatly. They include these little bags in the awning. They just pop out of there, peg it into the ground, and you've got nice guide ropes to hold your 360-degree awning. So for us, this new 360-degree awning they do was a real winner for us, because it's just like being in a Queenslander house. You've got shade all around. Also, while we're outside here, have a look at the size of that window. So apparently this is something they did more recently when they redesigned the canvas. They really maximised the window space. They increased the height of the roof, and these windows pretty much come down all the way to the bottom of the tent. The bottom of the tent's here, so you've got massive windows, which is great for airflow when you're trying to keep the thing cool during the day, but it's also fantastic for a view when you're staying in nice places like this. You want to be able to see it, so these great big windows give you a couple of good advantages. Now the next thing to show, and I'll show you this inside too, this is the underneath room. I guess people call lots of different things, but it's an underneath room. It actually attaches underneath your main bed. So your bed folds over the top on one of these Altis, and that's the roof of the trailer when it's normally packed up. And this underneath room, it surprised me at how easily it attaches. It just Velcros on to the top piece of the tent, right? So there's this Velcro here, which is your top part of your tent. The tent, the underneath room tent, just Velcros onto that. It's super solid, will not come undone. And a bit like the walls for the rear room, the underneath room has these great big mesh areas, so if you want breathing and you want light, etc., no problem. But when you want to protect it from rain, these canvas doors just fold down, same thing, zips on the side, so they're nice and solid, Velcro across the bottom. Now again, this underneath room is large, right? It's almost, I think it's over 2 metres that way, and it's 2 metres the other way. So you've got a 4 square metre room underneath. That'd be fantastic for kids. You could easily get 2 stretchers under there if you want to get kids under there. If you wanted to sleep on the ground with just ground mats, you could probably get 3 people sleeping underneath there. We use it for gear. So we'd put food in there, we'd put my bike in there when we bring my bike, scooter, whatever it is, because it's got a proper welded plastic floor in it, right? So it doesn't matter how much it rains, you've got a good solid floor in there and water's not going to get in your tent. And a lot of people, particularly kids and families say that they want to have a proper floor in these underneath rooms so that nothing can get in them. You don't want possums getting in your food or creepy crawlies getting in. So proper floor on that underneath room. So we love that. And it's got a big entry door, we'll see it on the inside, but that connects through to the rear room, and it just creates so much external space that's all tucked away. So we're really happy with that underneath room. All right, let's keep coming around. All right, so same, you can see the underneath room, and you can see if you have a look underneath, you can see right through to get an idea of just how much space is. Now, when you look at the underneath room right through to that rear room, there's so much space. Again, it's really for when you're base camping. If you were just stopping for a night, you've pulled up after a long day, you're just going to open up your tent, you're going to eat inside, that's it, nice and quick. But when you're stopping for a couple of days and you really want some space, huge amounts of space with this. All right, so let's have a look at some of the options that we got. So this little white doodad here, this is an outlet for the heater. So we've got the Truma heater and water boiler system. So that's the exhaust outlet for the heater. But a couple of things we've done here, we actually added, and thanks Grant and Linda for the advice on this one, but we actually added a solar input up here at the top of the trailer. So that's there. We've actually got a solar panel that goes on the roof. So when this is folded over, there's a solar panel that goes on the roof and just has a short lead that it goes into this solar input. So when it's all packed up and we're driving, or we've just got it static somewhere packed up, that solar panel is always charging the batteries in the trailer. So that's really handy. The standard solar inlet is actually tucked in underneath here, away from where it can get damaged from rocks and things like that. So it's actually tucked up underneath the chassis. And here on Static Camp, I'm actually using both of them. I'll actually show you how I'm using my solar panels here. We'll turn around. I've actually got them on the ground. And we've been having rainy weather, so it's been raining on and off every day. I've got 240 amp hours of lithium in this trailer, so two 120 amp hour lithium batteries. And even with the rain, it's sort of been on and off rain. Even with the rain that we've had, the batteries have been able to top up to 100% every day. That's the reason, one of the reasons that I love lithium. They take power really quickly. But I've got 3 solar panels. I knew I was going to have this on again, off again rain. So I brought all my solar panels and set them up, and they've been able to keep the trailer topped up no problem. We've been using the 2000 watt inverter to charge our scooter, to charge laptops, to charge different things, and we've been able to keep the batteries topped up with these solar panels. And this one here is a lightweight thin panel. It's only about 3 kilos, and it's on a backing plate. That's the one that actually bolts onto the lid of the trailer. So that's the one that's permanently attached to the trailer. It's a couple of thumb screws, pops off, and I can use it on the ground, which is fantastic. And then I really like these. These are the Red Arc solar blankets. I've got a 150 watt and a 190 watt. Now they fold up into nice neat little squares, a couple of kilograms each. It gives me heaps and heaps of solar, so I don't want to have to think about chasing power. With all of them plugged in there, as I said, 100% batteries full. We'll have a look in a little bit later on with a screenshot of the remote app on the phone, just to show you how much power how much this has been topped up even on a rainy day. Enjoying the sun right now, which is why we thought we'd grab the video right now. Okay, so that's the solar. Now part of the reason I went for those Red Arc blankets rather than the big solid panels is just that they're so small to pack up. When you're trying to do a longer trip and you're trying to take a bit of gear with you, it's good for things to be more compact, and those Red Arc solar blankets really do fold up nice and neatly and compact. Okay, so another option we got is we certainly got the 2000 watt inverter. You'll be able to see that in a minute. But we made sure that we had the 15 amp inlet. So if we get near a caravan park or something like that, or get near power somewhere, we've got an easy way to top up the batteries when we need to there. But Grant and Linda gave me some advice as well, and they said get a 15 amp outlet, which is basically piggybacked off the back of that. So if I happen to be at a caravan park or something, I can run one power lead to here, and then a power lead from here into my vehicle, which also has the ability to charge from a 15 amp socket. So I don't have to use 2 sockets at the place. I can just have one to here, piggyback lead onto my Land Cruiser, and away we go. So that was a good idea, and we got that added in. And we made sure we got them with black covers, so it looks nice with the colour combo that we got with this trailer. We got the black lower and the grey upper, so we really wanted that to look schmick. Let's have a look in the nose cone. I'm actually, just stay there, I'm just going to open up the other side so there's good light. This nose cone is like a TARDIS. I think the whole trailer is a little bit like a TARDIS actually. When you set this thing up, it amazes you how much space is in there. But this is the nose cone. This is where you do a lot of your storage for things that you carry when you come on camp. But you can also see the heart of the electrical system in here. So with the Nexus, the Nexus model of the Ulti, you get the Red Arc BMS 1230. So that's the core of the system. But we also got the Red Arc TVMS, the Total Vehicle Management System, which gives us a nice little control pad inside the unit that allows us to turn things on and off. We can see where we are with water and power, etc. But we can also use a Bluetooth app on our phones to see all those things as well. So that's the TVMS option, which is what this is about. And you can also see our big 2000 watt inverter. I think the standards are 1000. We went for the 2000 because we knew it would cover anything that we might want to do in the future, whether it's a bread maker and other sorts of devices. So we went for the slightly bigger inverter. You'll see some of the heater tubing here. This big white box in the middle, that's the heater, the water boiler heater unit. So that sits in the center there, and then tucked up in behind there is the back of the fridge. So if you ever need to get to the fridge, these covers actually come off with a couple of screws, and you can get to the back of your fridge and your water heater's right there. Now we've just got a couple of things in here right now. I won't go through all of that, but that stack there is all the bags that we use for the various bits of canvas and accessories that we're using with the trailer. So I've got them neatly folded up in there. And the one thing I haven't set up for the video today is the ensuite room. I'll show you where it goes, but just to give you an idea, that's the size of the ensuite room packed up. It's nice and compact, and all of that canvas all tucks away in there quite easily. And then I add a bunch of other other camping items in there as well. So that's the nose cone. Just on the front here, this big chunk of metal that we've got sitting here is an ISI bike carrier mount. So we actually got the bike carrier option. So there's actually a bike carrier that attaches to that. And when the nose cone's folded down, the bike carrier actually sits up here nicely tucked out of the road. When you want to open your nose cone, the bike carrier actually folds forward, even with the bikes on it. You can still get inside your nose cone. So we got the bike carrier added onto that. DO35 hitch, which is pretty much a standard hitch that you see with these sorts of trailers today. Fantastic off-road hitch. We did have a reverse camera. I'll show you that when we get back around the back, but we do have a reverse camera installed on this unit. The guys at the factory were able to run the cable through the trailer for us when we were getting it made, which made it much easier to attach that reversing camera. So we've got a reversing camera there, and then you've got your normal cables for hooking up to your vehicle. All right. So again, I'll do a different video going through the gear that we use another day, but just to give you an idea, there's actually just this area of the storage locker. There's actually room for 2 jerry cans you can put in here. Now what I've done is I've got a milk crate bag here from Drifter, and I've tucked a slightly smaller box in there, and I've all got sort of my loose electrical things and things that I use in here, plus my camp ovens, my water gears in a water bag that I keep here, and I keep my hammer and my pegs, etc. right here at my fingertips for when I want to set up. So that gives you an idea of some of the storage space that we've got in here. All right, now I'm actually standing underneath where the ensuite attaches. So this piece is sewn into the roof of the 360-degree awning. It stays there permanently. I understand that they've put that there to make it easy to reach. I'm 5'8", so that makes it a bit easier for me to zip the ensuite room on. So the way the ensuite room works is it basically zips onto that, goes down to the ground, 3 pegs on the ground, and I'll show you where the water connections, etc. go in the middle. So your ensuite goes here, and then we'll come around. Oh, we may as well do. Okay, so this piece of canvas here is the galley awning extension. And that's a single piece of canvas that goes all the way from this side of the trailer right across. Large piece of canvas, folds up nice and neatly. So that gives you some extra shade over this side of the trailer, and this is where you do your outside cooking, etc. So having that extra shade's a good thing. But you can also order this shade wall, and again it folds up nice and neatly, but it zips on the back here, and it gives you protection from rain and sun and wind and things like that on the cooking side. So that's a nice extra as well. These extension awnings come with these poles, so and these are good super peg aluminium poles, nice and lightweight, really resilient. They survive in storms and things like that, so I'm a big fan of that. They also have on them peggable feet, which makes it, if you've got a bit of wind, you can actually peg them to stop them from moving around. All right, so awning extension's great value, definitely recommend getting that. All right, so let's have a look at some of the services and some of the extras that we added onto our trailer here. This is called the galley side of the trailer. It's actually, when you're driving with the trailer, this is the passenger side of the trailer. If I just start here, so we had that painted black just to match the color of the trailer. This is the water outlet. So when you've got your ensuite room attached right here, they provide a hose that attaches here, and when you turn it, and you've got the water heater, if you've got the water heater, when you turn this thing, it actually goes from cold to hot. so you can adjust the temperature of your water inside the shower. You can also use it for washing down and things like out here if you've been at the beach and you want to wash off. Just attach a hose in there and away you go. I guess if you don't have the heater, then it's just cold water. But we've got the heater, so that tucks in there, nice and convenient for that part. Now, I'll actually show you the way this is their stainless steel external table. So this all folds up. It's like a bit of Meccano, a bit of folds up. Goes into a bag that they provide. But this is where you put your barbecue, your Weber, or whatever you might use outside here. I use it for projects and things like that as well. I'll come back to that in a minute. But the way they've designed this, these wings actually fold down. So I'm just going to take the stainless steel rope there, allow that to fold down, and show you one of these storage lockers because it's really easy to get to from this side. So this is where the gas is stored. So storage lockers here, they've got little ropes to stop them from dropping down. So we chose to go with 2 4-kilo gas bottles. I know you can option it with a 9 and a 4, but for us we like the convenience of the 4s because they're easy to pick up and move and things like that. But you've got 2 gas bottles in there and all your taps for routing gas to your heater and your external barbecue as well as your kitchen. So that's how the storage lockers work. They've got good automotive quality seals on them. And away you go. So that's the storage locker. Now down underneath here, okay, we've got the grey water tank option. So they've got a few options with water tanks. A 120 litre main water tank, that's the standard, and then you can option 2 additional 50 litre tanks. I've chosen to go with a 50 litre tank on the other side, which is fresh water. So I've got a primary and a secondary freshwater water tank. And I've chosen a 50 litre grey water tank option. So the sink upstairs drains down to that grey water tank. I can just turn it off if you're at a national park or something like that where you need to keep your grey water inside a tank. Just close the tap off, it gathers in there, 50 litres. And when you're ready to drain, you've got your hose, run it away, run it into a bucket and tip it into an appropriate place. So that's your grey water in under there. I think that's a great option, particularly with national parks these days really asking you to collect your water and not let it dump on the ground. That's really important. All right, let's pop this back up. So that just clips on there. Okay. Now, some other services along here. So this is the gas outlet for your barbecue. So great option. So if you've got a Weber or something like that, comes with a quick connect fitting, pop it in there. Now you've got your gas straight from your gas bottles there. So I think that's a great option. Again, we've had that painted to match our colour style. Now this is an option that we had added on as part of the build. I actually had an additional outlet, power outlet from the 2000 watt inverter added out here. I wanted the ability to be able to charge things out here, to be able to run 240 volt appliances. If I wanted to run one of those new induction cooktops out here, I wanted to make sure I had power outside. Even on this trip I've used a couple of times, so that was something they were able to add on to me. I highly recommend that for getting power outside. Subsequent to the build, we've also had this light added to the outside. We wanted some external light over this area. So we've had our friends at COGS, Custom Off-Grid Solutions. They've added a few things for us actually, but we've got an external light and that goes white and orange. Big fan of getting orange lights. So we've added the external light. Now, move these guys. I'll show you this other storage locker at this end. Okay. This one's really, really handy. This is the Porta Potti storage locker. So I pop that down. So Thetford Porta Potti fits in there. The 335 fits in there perfectly. We've got our potty bag, if you like. So that's our dunny bag with our toilet paper and things like that stored in there as well. And I've also there's enough room in that storage locker for the chemicals as well. So we've got all of those tucked in there. Now what's really cool about this storage locker is it's actually accessible from inside the unit as well. So if you get caught somewhere and you really need to use the loo and it's sitting there and you want to drag it inside, that's actually technically possible to do as well. So storage locker there for your porta potty. Normally on camp though, you'd grab that and pop it inside your ensuite room. Okay, other options. We got the external speakers on ours, so if I want to play some music when I'm sitting out here cooking or whatever else, I've got the external speakers here. Now this one will be a little bit hard to see, but we also had our friends at Custom Off-Grid Solutions actually add additional external USBs for us here. We're always charging things, we've always got phones and other devices and whatever else, and we wanted some external USB to this external kitchen area. So we had some USBs added on there. There was a SIG socket there, we just had that moved up a little bit higher inside, and I'll show you that in a minute. They've got dust covers on them, so we pop them away. And just while I'm here, last thing for the external, this is a Core flexible light, Core branded. It's white and yellow, and it runs off a SIG socket. I find that these are really good with the Alti because they've actually got a clip on each end, and you can actually clip it up to the top of the awning up here and run it down one of the white stays, and it's got velcros on the back to attach around the stays. So that flexible core light from Core I think is really handy for getting additional external lighting out here. All right, and that brings us back to the beginning. So that's a walk around the external. While we're here though, let's go inside and just have a little bit of a look at the external, that rear room and the underneath room, to finish off this particular video. All right, let's take a look inside. Okay, so as I said before, this room is just massive. I'm going to deliberately stand back over here just to give a bit of effect, right? This room is huge, and you've got the mesh, you've got the PVC lining that goes underneath the trailer. So this whole room is closed off from the insects. There's been a lot of insects around this area, and this room's been really good for keeping them away. Huge area. We've had five people in here with all their chairs and tables, eating and things like that. No drama at all. So really good job with the room. As I said, probably about 2 meters wide and over 4 meters long, and just a couple of poles to make it stand. I've added another one of those Core lights inside here, the Core flexible lights. I've added that to that stay as well, just to give us an extra light in this area. Now let's just come over by the stairs. Couple of things that we've done here. I'll just pop up the stairs. First and foremost, we're a big fan of these battery-powered vacuum cleaners. So this is a Makita one. You can get them in lots of different brands. But this is a great way for just picking up the odd bits of dirt that comes in on your ground sheet, but also for vacuuming inside the trailer. So we're a big fan of those. They're rechargeable. Now just up here, I'm just going to point out a couple of the accessories I've got here. All right. First and foremost, that's a standard rear light that comes with the trailer. This here is the SIG that used to be over where those USBs are. Now we've moved the SIG over here, but we've put a little cover above it because it turns out when the rain falls off the top of this unit, when it's all closed, it actually runs right down over that area. So we just put a little cover over it so water doesn't run through the socket. There's my rear reversing camera. So we have that go through to the vehicle. It's good for reversing, but it's also good when you're out on the highway and you're towing, because it basically gives you a digital rear view out the back of the trailer. So we're a big fan of the rear light. And I also have a LED lens, a torch that we mount. This mounts here permanently. It's got a little USB cable that plugs into those USB sockets, but it's got a magnetic base, and it sits in there and it charges when you're not using it, but it gives us a really bright torch right beside the door when we need to go for a walk at night and we want some good lighting. I use these Drifter jerry can bags. This one's actually got kindling in it, and we pop that on the back, but you could put a water jerry can there as well. That's a standard feature on the Nexus. All right, now other accessories. We got the electric actuator on our Alti. Now we think this is a game changer for us. The standard Alti, it's got a nice what do you call it, a shocky that goes in there, and when you lift it up, it makes it easy for you to lift it up and push it over. But we got the electric one because it takes no effort. There's actually a little button, you press the button and the actuator lifts the roof up and brings it back down, 0 effort. And that's something we really wanted with the nighttime setups after a long day of driving, was to make it really easy to set up. So love the electric actuator, makes it really, really easy to set the unit up at night. Now tucked in behind the actuator is another SIG socket, so that's where we run our light at night. And we also had a USB added beside it as well, so I've got some more USBs, so if we want to charge phones and things like that in this room, we can do that right there as well. All right, and I think we'll just finish off with the underneath room. So let's just pop in underneath here. As I say, lots of clear space. All right, so I love this room. Pockets everywhere. There's pockets on the outside, there's pockets on the inside. Over 2 meters by 2 meters, so 4 square meter room. As I said, you could easily put 2 stretchers in here and have a couple of people sleep down here. Now we had a light added to the outside here, just to so the room actually comes with this clear panel on it. So we've added a light outside here just to give us a bit of light in the area. But Alti's also designed this room, this big bit of Velcro at the top here is designed for you to attach a light strip across there as well, so you can run a big light strip inside the room. Okay, now the other cool thing about this room is they've actually designed it to be able to access your hatches on this side of the trailer. So you open these doors, and there's the hatch on this side. So that's all my spares and gear like that. And this hatch over this side is the battery hatch. So there's my 2 lithium batteries. So again, this room's all been designed to make it easy to get to those things. And if you don't need to get to them, in the drama, it's all tucked away. It's all tucked away. Everything's safe and bug proof. And away you go. All right, so that's a walk around.
The pockets there.
Oh yeah, so extra pockets here, so plenty of pockets for storage. It's fantastic. Same on the outside, there's pockets outside. So lots of storage, lots of room. We're really, really happy with the way this all works as a base camp setup. So that's the walk around, the outside of the external walk around for our ultimate Nexus 360. And we'll show you more on the inside in a separate video. Thank you very much.